Welcome to another Milepost of the V-Twin Life. We talk motorcycles powered by those V-Twins, why we enjoy it, what they mean to us, and just why we enjoy the open road. V-Twin Life is brought to you by CrashIncClothing.com, also known as Crash Inc. on the World Wide Web. Man, Brad has sold a lot of stuff. You want to get some merchandise, you want to get parts, you want to upgrade stuff on your bike. He is a dealer for a lot of great companies, so check out CrashIncClothing.com and see what they got for you. Now, we got Wild Ass. You want to add some comfort to your ass? Man, Wild Ass has got you covered. They've got something you like. Use that promo code DWoods. Get yourself free shipping and put that ass in comfort. Can't forget Custom Dynamics, leading the world in LED lighting and LED technology. Man, these got some great stuff. You want to light up your life at nighttime? You want to be seen during the day? Hey, check out Custom Dynamics. Can't forget Lexan. These guys got some great comm units. I just got the new G16s. Man, you want to talk quality? These things are awesome. Loudspeakers, plus they got some air pumps, small ones you keep in your bike. They're ready to go. So check out Lexan. So now, let's get to another milepost of the V-Twin Life. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Milepost 152. We're flying down the freeway, the interstate, them back roads, and tonight we got UCMPIGS coming to hang out, share some stories, share some adventures, and I know, like we were talking earlier, he's got some awesome weather going around. So hopefully he stays around and hangs out for a little while. So, hey, man, welcome to the show. Thanks for wanting to come and hang out.
Thanks for having me, Denver. I appreciate it, man. This is not really my thing, but hey, I'm here, and let's talk motorcycles and stuff.
Oh, that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what I enjoy doing this whole thing. It's just you get that camaraderie, somebody that enjoys life on two wheels, part of that motorcycle community as a whole, and it's. You spark that common ground. It's like, hey, we got something to talk about because we both enjoy riding. So let's head down them roads and just have a good time.
Sounds good.
I like to think of this as like, virtually sitting around the campfire at night at camp or something and just, enjoy your adult beverage of choice, whatever your partake is, and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, like I said, I appreciate it, man. I kind of dig just hanging out, talking about motorcycles. And when you reached out to me, yeah, I mean, there was no question in my mind. I definitely want to be part of this. You're kind of a staple when it comes to doing this type of stuff. So I appreciate you thinking of me. I think somebody may have had something to do with it. I think he's over in the side chat, but
he might be. Hey, he's a great influencer. And pushing things upon you. I don't know why you say influencer or a pusher. There's a fine line. He kind of veers off to that pusher side sometimes, but no, man, Bry's a great guy. We all love Bry. You can't go wrong with him.
I mean, he's not a twin cam guy anymore or a V-twin guy. So
right, he decided to join the big Smitty club and gonna venture off and hey, but you know what? He still can do some cool shit, so it's cool. But Kelfire, how are the Chicken Baggett Racing League coming along? Well, before we started, you probably could have heard them in the background because they're outside next to the garage. They were clucking and going crazy, but it is. So, no, go for it, man.
No, we were talking the other evening, talking about chickens, and when I spoke to you last, I had chickens. I'm now chickenless. My wife decided to rehome them, so we found them. They needed they were done laying, and it was time for them to go finish out the rest of their years someplace comfortable. So they went to the farm, but they really went to the farm. Not like how you tell your kids you're taking them to the farm.
Yeah.
We actually took them to a farm, people that, had like a rescue, and they just free roam and they're happy as can be. So yeah, we're without chickens now. So no more fresh eggs for me.
Yeah, I know the wife's flock has gotten a little smaller. We had 5 and we're down to 2 just because of age, but then, oh, look at that. Do you choke them? Come on now, Bri. We try to keep this kid friendly. But so, all right, we'll dive into this where we always like to start because then we're so easy to go squirrel sidetrack. We're going to turn around.
Absolutely.
How'd you get into motorcycles, man? Where'd it come into life for you?
I started riding motorcycles when I was probably 10 or 12 years old. I grew up in North Mississippi, tiny little town just north of Tupelo. A lot of people know where Tupelo's at because that's where Elvis was born. And we started with a little Honda Trail 50. I think I want to say I was probably 11, and started with that and went through the whole Honda XR series, an 80, a 100. Then I think we got like an XL 125.
I had that one.
Yeah, that's the little enduro, I guess, on and off road.
Yeah,
whatever.
I had the XR 125. Remember not XR, excuse me, the XR 100.
Yep.
Then my stepdad had picked up an XL 125, the old little mini, I guess, dual sport you could call them. But
Yeah.
I remember those well.
Yeah, so did that most of my childhood until I got Mississippi. You get your driver's license at 15 because of the farming and agriculture. So once that happened, I lost interest in motorcycles, was running around being stupid. And I think my first street motorcycle, I just got out of basic training. And when I left Great Lakes, I came back here. Well, I came here for the first time, which is where I'm at now in coastal Virginia, the Norfolk area, to Virginia Beach, was where I went to my first school. And a buddy of mine and I shared a 87, I think it was, Shadow 500. And it was cheap. Back then, they didn't really, getting it on and off the base wasn't a hassle. It's kind of a hassle now with all, you got to have an MSF course and all this stuff. I mean, I don't even think I had an M endorsement. And we rode that thing around for a couple years, and then had some metrics, and then my kids came along. I think my last metric was an 06 Shadow 750. And that was around 06 timeframe. And I was going into work. I was back out at Dam Neck now, working out there several years later in my career. And I had someone run me off the road. And that was pretty scary. So I got to thinking about it. I got to talking to my wife, and I said, I think my job is dangerous enough. I probably don't need to be riding this motorcycle with young boys. And I put them away. And I didn't ride another motorcycle until 2010. I think it was 2010. I think is when I got back on a bike again. So, and then since then, there's been several bikes. But, currently on a 16 Ultra, that detachable tour pack, because I like a street glide, but the tour pack's nice when you ride. So when you do travel, but yeah, that's the long of it, man. That's the long of it. So pretty much my whole life.
Before I dive too deep, also, I know you're a veteran, so I mean, I forgot had this penciled in the beginning, but no, thank you for your service.
No, thank you
your time in the military and whatnot, because to me, all our veterans are, they're true American heroes. So thank you for the time you put in the service, and thank you for that.
I appreciate it. It's something that I'm proud of. I typically don't wear it on my sleeve. It's not, a lot of people, and again, I'm not knocking them. Everybody's proud of their service. Everybody, wants to, display that however they want. And, a lot of people will incorporate that into their YouTube channel, like their channel name and stuff like that. And when I got started, a lot of people, would ask me, what does my channel name mean? And I tell them absolutely nothing. And at first they thought it was like they thought it was Marine Corps. And I said, no, it's UCM, like you see them pigs. It's nothing to do with the military. But I don't wear it on my sleeve. I don't carry it around. And I appreciate it when people thank me for my service. However, I'm one of these people that, I was compensated, and I was compensated well. I did a job and I got paid for it, and I appreciate it when people thank me. But, I've been fortunate that I have all my digits, and I'm able to walk upright, and I somewhat have my wits about me. So I think I lucked out pretty well. And like I said, I appreciate it, but it's not something that I put out front, if that makes sense. You know what I'm
saying? No, completely. But, I just, to those that come on here that, that gave their service, it's,
yeah, I
honor them, and I've been riding with the Patriot Guard for a long, probably going on almost 2 decades. And so it's something that, I got a lot of military veterans within my family, and it's just something that, to me, it's, I uphold, and, those people deserve a lot. So,
yep, we got one inside chat. Doc Harley's there. Yeah, Doc Harley is in the side chat. He's another vet. So lot of us in this community, man. A whole lot of us. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
So once you found motorcycles, what kind of really sparked your interest that you wanted to, continue riding it and just enjoying the road? What was it about it that really got you into it?
Well, to me, it's pretty therapeutic. I mean, I think a lot of us say that. And
I agree 100%.
It's just something that, when I get on the bike and I ride, I can get with my side, I have all this infotainment system and stuff on my bike, and I've never listened to it. I never listened to the radio. I'm typically just my own thoughts in my head. I don't listen to music in my cardo. It's my time, and it's my time to think about things. Another thing that I don't talk about a lot, and I won't spend a lot of time of it here on your channel either, because there's a couple things that are taboo when it gets to this content creation, motorcycle stuff. I'm a God-fearing man, so that's kind of my time to, have those discussions that I need with my maker. So, that's kind of why I do it. I ride my bike every single day, including the winter months. I mean, here we have pretty mild winters. There may be 10 days out of the year, not consecutive, that I cannot ride. And it's just kind of my time, even if it's a 20-minute commute to work, it's still riding, and it just kind of keeps me sane. So that's kind of why I enjoy it. I mean, it's freedom. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here, and I'm sure you and most people that are watching this who ride, it's probably each one of us do it for a different reason, but I think we can all agree on the freedom of riding a motorcycle and being in touch with the things around you, the smells, the sounds, the feels, all the stuff. It's all your senses are engaged in operating this machine. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I know, like my wife commented, her dad will never ask for recognition either. So, like she said, much appreciated. And I can understand where it comes from. I spent almost, 10 years working in maximum security prison, and motorcycles can be a very therapeutic deal. And sometimes I like to think, the conversations you can have within your helmet with yourself is when you're on a motorcycle, it can be therapeutic. And, it's sounds weird, I guess you can say, when, you can talk to yourself, but in a way answer your own questions. And like you said, I've had days where, you might get out for 10 miles, 15 miles, might be 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, but you feel good when you come back. You're in a different frame of mind, and you got that little smile on your face. It's like, all right, cool. I feel better. I'm ready to, continue my day. And sometimes it's just those little moments that, we like to call, you get in the wind, and it just revives you in a way.
I get itchy if I don't ride for a while. Like my work I still have to travel occasionally. And if I go a week or so without riding, I feel like I have to come home, and that's one of the first things I have to do. I come home, I kiss my wife, and I go ride the motorcycle. It means that much to me, to a point where there's times when I do travel, I will go out early. So typically my work will start on a Monday, and I would typically travel on a Sunday. I'll leave on a Friday and rent a bike just so I can ride, that weekend before I start the work. So I'll do that. I ride a lot out, and I travel to San Diego a lot. So I'll rent out there and ride all over Southern California, and then start my work on Monday just so I can get through the week. I mean, it gets me. I start twitching. So it's something that I really need in my life.
Well, I've had those days, like, we were talking beforehand, like when I, I had the Mile Monsters banner up for last weekend, but, same thing. You do some of the, you do some of the weekly challenges, like, the honor week we have with the Mile Monsters, and, it could be the 4th day of the week, and I'll come home. It's like, I'm just not in the right frame of mind to want to go ride. And my wife is great. She goes, no, you need to finish this. Just, take 10 minutes, go for a little ride. And it's like that little 10 minutes, and come back and, literally, thank you. It's like, I needed it myself, but it's like, sometimes I don't know, I have those days where it's like, I'm just not in the right frame of mind. It's like, just not feeling it. But then, she's like, no, if I can go do it. And no, and it does get you, where you need to be.
It's something for me, like, just like I said, just to ride to work in the morning, clearing my head before I get there. And then more importantly, that ride home. you can decompress a lot on that ride
For
home.
sure.
And I'm close enough to my office that I'll come home at lunch. So I actually get 4 trips in a day on the bike, at least get on it, start it, and ride it, 4 short trips in a day. And it just keeps me going because I don't do a lot of weekend rides. We were talking before the live stream and stuff. And especially this time of year, my family, I mean, my sons are grown, but we still do a lot together. And then my wife and I are very outdoorsy people. We enjoy fishing and kayaking and stuff like that. We're close to the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We're on the beach all the time this time of year. And so my weekends, bike stays parked most weekends, unless I've got a dedicated trip going on. I'm not one of these guys that can just jump on, well, I can, but I choose not to, and take off for 4 hours on a Saturday, because that's kind of my time with my wife. And she's not a motorcycle person. She doesn't care anything about riding on the back of one. And it's my thing, like some guys golf, I do this, so, and she respects it. So, it works out. It's a good balance.
Oh, I think, what, Amy and I are the same way. I mean, a year and a half ago, we bought a camping trailer, and we spent, I think, in a year and a half, 34 weekends, in our camping trailer. And it's something we enjoy. And I mean, she also does enjoy to ride, which is great. Like, we're here in 2 weeks, we're taking off for a 4-day trip to Montana for our 25-year wedding anniversary. She's like, hey,
nice.
Let's just take off on the bike. She found this cool little town, Phillipsburg, Montana, found it on TikTok, and it's cool. So, we're going to leave on a Friday, and all we know is that Saturday we're going to be in Phillipsburg. We're still working, where the hell are we going to go on the first day? And we think we've got it narrowed down. So the first and second day we got figured out, and the third, it's like, well, we're still working on figuring it out. It's like, that's all right. We'll go somewhere. So no, it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's great. I mean, we did Sturgis 2 years ago, working with Wild Ass over in Sturgis, and we rode over there, and no, it's been a lot of fun,
How many years?
25 years we've been married.
Nice. I like to hear that. I've been married for 33 years, and
fucking bride.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you're gonna have to rename that. Amy has a motorcycle trailer that I pull behind the roadglide, but that's all right.
But yeah, we enjoy camping. Our trailer's not a toy hauler.
Nor is ours.
She's a princess. I've asked her, I said, hey, can we get a toy hauler? That way I can at least take the bike. And she's like, I don't want to sit in the garage. And I get it. She doesn't want to sit in the garage. So, and we don't call it camping. We those days are done, when the kids were little, you build the fires and do all the bullshit outside and roasting, cooking and swatting bugs. I take it, and when we use it, we go to one place, and we go to Frisco, North Carolina, which is just the first village up from Hatteras. And I take it down there, I park it, I level it, I put the AC on 68, and I go to the beach, and I crack open a beer, and I surf fish until almost dark. And then we go back to the camper, shower, get under blankets, and watch something on Netflix, go to sleep, and do it again the next day. So it's really a mobile beach house is what it is. So we're not really campers. It's just an inexpensive way to have a beach house. So that's what we do.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's something you got to try this on one of your next trips. You're going to laugh and think I'm fucking crazy, but my wife found this, and it's became almost like a staple on every camping trip. You got to get yourself a fire and roast Twinkies like on a hot dog stick, but you roast Twinkies over the fire. Roasted Twinkies are the shit. No joke.
Sounds glorious. Now I'm now thinking to myself, why have I not done this?
We found it years ago, and you roast them to a nice golden brown, and I don't know what it is, man, but I'm telling you, it's fucking amazing. They are damn good.
We've done some cool stuff. When my boys were little, I used to go and buy, just the big tub at Sam's, the Nestle Toll House cookie dough. It comes in a big tub. You get it at Sam's Club or Costco or whatever. And
Phil.
We would actually make cookies in the camper oven. People are like, you use your oven? I'm like, it has one. Why would I not use it? If they didn't want me to use the oven, they wouldn't put one in there. And so I baked the cookies, and then we roast the marshmallows on a chocolate chip cookie, and then put it between two chocolate chip, fresh baked chocolate chip cookies. We call them the ultimate s'mores, and they absolutely loved them. That was just fantastic.
Or you do s'mores. You do the graham crackers, the marshmallow, and then a Reese peanut butter cup.
Oh yeah, that's heaven. That's heaven.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm never going to be a skinny guy again because we found all these great little camping snacks we can call them, and oh yeah.
I'm 53 years old. I mean, I'm going to eat what I want to eat. I'm going to drink what I want to drink and do what I want to do. I'm not worried about it. Yeah.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah. Cheers to you, man. Thanks for having me again. I have a really hard time. My eyes are probably all over the place. It's like, I think I said, I got the camera here. I've got you here. And then I'm trying to watch the side chat over here because I don't want to miss anybody. I appreciate all these people showing up. And I want to make sure if I don't say hi to you in the side chat, I see you. So I see Archosaurus. I'm assuming Amy's your better half.
Yes. Yeah. And then, she for sure the better half. Yes.
Yeah. And then Phil and Smitty, they're all great people. And I'm doing a video. I'm doing some videos right now.
Fudge. Dude, those fudge stripe cookies.
You can't go wrong.
Those are my weakness right there. I fucking love those. All right, dude. I got it. The next camping trip, which I think is going to be in a couple weeks. We were talking about this week, but we got to move our son back home, move him out of his apartment from Eastern Washington back here. But yeah, it's been, I don't know, for Amy and I now that, we were empty nesters. The youngest son he's not young, he's 22, coming back here to find a job and then going to find a place around here. So he's coming back. But no, camping just been, something we've always enjoyed. And when we were empty nesters for the first little while, it's like we found the camping trailer. We actually looked at a couple of toy haulers that, we really liked the layout. And then Amy found a deal on Marketplace on the Arctic Fox that we bought, and we love it. We spend so many weekends in it, and it's fun. It's a little home away from home. We camp all over the peninsula up here in Northwest Washington, go all these different places, and it's just fun. I mean, granted, most time we're an hour and a half, 2 hours away from home, but it's not far, but it's still just a nice little getaway, that little reset you need in life. And
we make the jokes
like
on the weekend. If I'm here on the weekend, I'm doing some bullshit. So it's an opportunity for me to get away and not worry about, cleaning the pool, picking up dog shit, pulling weeds. I can just kind of just sit and do nothing for a weekend. And that's why I like about, pulling the camper. I wish we went more. We did early on. We've had ours. This one's a 2015. So we've had it a while. And yeah, we'd like to use it more. Like this weekend, like we were talking about before this, we were supposed to be on Hatteras, and then family stuff, and family comes first. So that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So
what kind of camper you guys got?
It's
we'll sidetrack motorcycles and campers now.
Oh, we're gonna just change it all up. It's a Keystone Bullet.
Okay.
It's a 34-foot, and it has those in the back. It's the rear living area, but it has the opposing slides. So it opens up like this, and it's just giant. It's bigger than my first apartment. So it's just ginormous. And then we, I don't know who designs the inside of these campers. I think it's the same people that design whorehouses, because it's always like, paisley and these dark colors and maroons and crazy stuff. And we took it and we stripped everything out of it. So all that furniture that came in it, that piece of crap couch that a grown ass man can't sit on. And yes, Phil, I know I'm a little guy, but even I can't sit on it. And then that booth, dinette and stuff, we ripped all that crap out, and we painted, put our own wallpaper, and we put a futon, and my wife found this little IKEA table, a couple recliners, and it's like it's beachy. It's not, I don't feel like I'm sitting in a cat house, when I'm camping. So, just kind of made it ours. So, I'm going to keep it. It's not like I'm going to get rid of it. So that's just the way it works.
Oh yeah. We have a 2008 Arctic Fox. It's a 25-foot. And, the biggest thing, like with the wife, wanted the walk around bed in the front. So it's got the walk around queen bed. It's got a jackknife sofa in it that folds down to a twin bed. But the crazy thing, the dinette is in the slide. And I was doing some measuring, looking at stuff in it. when you fold down the dinette and whatnot, it is actually longer than our bed by like 6 inches.
Yep.
The queen bed is shorter than the dinette. It's like there's more room in the freaking fold down the table, and you got more room on that bed. And
well, those little RV mattresses are tiny. I mean, I'm not a tall dude. I'm only like 5'9", and my feet hang off of it. So I can only imagine what somebody that's like 6 foot has to deal with. But yeah, we love it, man. We love it, and it's something to do, other than motorcycles, and
yep, exactly.
It's something for us to do together. So that's why we keep it around, because it gives us something to do. But
that's what we do. I mean, the little jackknife sofa, Amy figured out that like we have like some twin sheets from when the kids had their bunk beds, and it fits right over that sheet. So the dogs, the sofas became their bed. We fold that down. The dogs know where their bed is. They sleep there, and we found a great deal. The original owner that ordered it, ours came with the built-in generator that runs off the propane tanks. And like I said, it's a 2008. We bought it. The generator had 29 hours on it.
Yeah.
It was never used. So, I always make the joke because, we have a manufactured home. So it's like, we leave the double wide on Friday and we go stay in our single wide and then come back home on Sunday and we go back to the double wide. It's just, a little
that's
funny joke.
My mom and dad, they, when they retired, they did the full-time RV thing. So they like sold everything, and people would always say, well, hey, where's your mom and dad live? And I said, I'd look at them just as serious as could be. I'd say, my mom and dad are homeless. and they would just look at me and I'd say, yeah, they don't have a house. But then I would tell them, they're full-time RVers, but they eventually, my dad got to a point where he couldn't tow, and they found him a little 55 and up community in Central Florida, Polk County. And they called it a patio home. They kept saying patio home. And I'm like, what is a patio home? So we finally went down there, and it's a trailer park. But they're really nice. They have sheetrock walls and, shingled roof. And you go inside, it's a house. It's a prefab house. But my mom would get mad because they had like a pool in the community, and I'd be down there with the kids. And I'd say, I'm gonna go back to the trailer. And she gets so mad, and she'd say, it's not a trailer, it's a patio home. And I'd say, Mom, your house got an axle. And then I say, you got a license plate in the window, because in Florida, you have to still display, it's like a motorcycle license plate in the window. So in the front kitchen window, there was this little motorcycle license plate there for their house. And I'm like, your house has got a license plate. It's trailer.
That's funny shit.
And she used to hate it. It was, it's
that's funny.
Yeah. But they're back in a house now. So that's just, every time somebody says trailer, but I mean, it's common. Like where I grew up, it's very, in the prefab, my brother, he lived in Raleigh, and he had a 2-story prefab home. I didn't even know they made such a thing.
I've seen some of those up here, a couple places, only a few. And even a good friend of mine had one, and it was built on a hill and dug down. He had a full basement.
Yeah.
He was a full-time, gunsmith. So before the house was put on, he had lathes, drill press. He had equipment brought in that, they had to put down in the basement with a crane and then put the house. I'm like, dude, do you ever sell this stuff? He's like, I sell the house. He goes, everything's staying. He goes, because it ain't leaving.
All right. Smitty's out. Talk to you later, Smitty.
All right, Smitty, thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Thin dude.
You need to get back a hold of me, because we need to get Smitty back on.
Yeah, he's good. Smitty's good people, man.
Oh, Smitty's awesome. I love that dude.
I really want to meet him in person. And I was going to say that a while ago. We got sidetracked on something else. And, I say it in a lot of my videos, and I'm pretty sincere about it, man. One of the things that I absolutely love about doing this are the people, man. You meet some most awesome people. And
100%.
Slowly getting to meet a lot of them in person, and a lot of people in the side chat here I've met, and I appreciate them being here. And Smitty's one of those that's on my list. That dude, I have got to get down to Texas. I've got to get down and hang out with him, because I think he'd be a hoot to hang out with.
I went to a Mile Monster thing a couple of years ago down in Texas, but unfortunately he had to work, so he wasn't there for the big preview. We did Gavin's video down in New Braunfels, but no, I agree. Smitty he's high on my list. Somebody I can't wait to meet. But no, it's like you said, that to me, it's even before when we talked on the phone and whatnot, the biggest reward of doing these podcasts is the friendships you get to make with people. And to me, that's what it's all about. I work full time. This isn't a job. I don't make money off this and
Nope.
any stuff like that, but I do it because it's fun, the camaraderie we have within this community, and just you build that friendship. And it's an amazing thing because there are times where, hey, I've actually used friendships in little, like, you can call family emergencies, and had a great friend help out. And you get people broke down somewhere, say, hey, I know somebody close to the area, and we all do what we can to help, and it's just been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many great friends. I mean, we've already talked about Bry the trader, and he, he's
Oh,
guy.
that's awesome.
But
Yeah.
He's a solid dude, and he'll bend over backwards to give you advice and help you out because he's been doing it for a while, and I really appreciate it. John's there too. I mean, Road Reality. He's just another guy, really. And the crazy thing about John is he's like 3 hours from me, and I've got to get up and hang out with him. I just want to hang out with him and he's a busy guy. He's got young kids, and I get it, but it's another guy I'd like to hang out with that I've met doing this. And like you said, I'm not trying to make this my job. I love my job. I'll probably do that till I die, but it's just fun to do this, meet awesome people.
Oh, it is. Like, we had losing my track of mine here.
I started watching the side track, and I'm like,
in the side chat, and
yeah,
talking about who's going to Sturgis. I was awesome. Got to meet him in 23 when Amy and I were in Sturgis, and it's just cool, to people, someone kind of go out of their way to come to wherever you're at in venues and come hang out and say hi. And no, it's been absolutely awesome. And like I said, I mean, I had a lot, bringing the whole podcast to YouTube was all, honestly, thanks to Brian and Jason Setzer.
Yeah.
Sent me stuff, and I literally got a package, like this microphone, a couple other pieces from Brian. God, they showed up one day at like 2:00, and 3 hours later, hey, let's do the first freaking live on YouTube. And we've been going all over since then. And it's been awesome. And it's all, it is thanks to the friendships that you get to make with people. It's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. I mean, people now I got a paragraph to read. Great. I'm sitting here trying to watch this. I'm like, oh, great, a paragraph. But yeah, it's just fantastic people, and we clown around. Bry's got a Discord, and there's days that I could be having a super crap day, and I can just pick up my phone and hit that Discord, and just, even if I don't participate in the conversation, just to read what they're talking about and what's going on in their life, or whatever. And it's just really nice just to have that, and not to steal Bry's thunder, but mental health's a big thing, and especially as men, we have a hard time expressing it sometimes, and it's just nice to know there's a group of people that are there and they care. And when you don't show up for a couple days, they start asking, and that's a good feeling, man. That's a really good feeling to know somebody is thinking about you. So one of my good friends, Jason, Mr. McSnash, I don't know if you've ever watched any of his videos. He's out of Ohio. He just did a 22 state ride, the 22 states in 22 days, to raise awareness for the 22 we lose a day to veteran suicide. And one of his sayings is, love on your family and check on a buddy. And that's important. That's really important. Sometimes just to shoot somebody a text, or just, in the Discord, just, hey, at Denver, or whatever, what's going on. So that way, when you pick up your phone the next time, you can see, hey, there's somebody looking for you. So it's a fantastic resource as well.
It is.
Community, it's doing a lot of good for a lot of people.
A good friend of mine, Michael Nielsen, on social media, is Two Wheels to Survive. He's a medically retired combat veteran, and he did the same deal. I want to 2 years ago, the 22 national parks, riding for Mission 22. He did the western side of the United States. Yep. Spent, it might have been 22 days, 22 national parks, and that's a big drive of his also. And it is cool to know those people, and what they're trying to push, and it's not just about them. It's they're there looking for other, looking out for other members of our community, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I've yet to meet somebody that I really don't like. I think I can count the people I don't like on one hand. So I pretty much get along with everybody, but I've met some really fantastic people doing this, and I look forward to meeting more. Um, it's just a really good time, and you know what? You're combining two hobbies. You're learning about like with you with your podcast, with broadcasting and doing this type of media. I mean, because that's basically what you are now, is you're a media outlet, and and then combining that with your love of motorcycles. I mean, what more could you ask for?
You trying to put a title on what I do? Damn,
No, I'm
nobody's done
not,
that
because
yet.
if
No,
anybody tried to
I
put a
just kidding.
title, no, if anybody tried to put it on me, I mean, I started as a motovlogger, and I joke around now, and I tell people I still identify as a motovlogger, but I've gotten now where I do so much more. I used to hate doing things like this. I used to hate doing the talking head. I didn't like to see myself on camera, and when I could hide behind the helmet, that was, a little more comfortable for me. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool to be able to combine, and then just like stuff like and what I do with content creation, the stuff I'm learning, you're learning about, taking awesome pictures, and where to put the sun. 5 years ago I never would have known where to put the sun, and that's one of the things I look at now. When I get off the bike and I whip out my phone and I'm getting ready to record something, I'm like, where's the sun? And I want the sun in a certain place, and I wouldn't have thought about that before.
Good
It's just
point.
little things like that. Because I know John's watching, and John is really big about where to put the sun. So John, that's for you.
For me, I mean, and coming here and doing this, I got to give a lot of credit. Actually, honestly, my son's baseball coaches, because I was never one to be public speaking or talking in front of anybody. You would have told me 10 years ago I'd be having some podcast doing this. I would have told you you're absolutely out of your freaking mind. And when I got asked to start announcing baseball games, get in the booth, I don't know, I bet the first year. I remember the first big 4-day tournament I did, a big huge here in Port Angeles. I was ready to start throwing up with the garbage can in the booth. I'm like, I can't do this. No freaking way. And then it started being fun. I started really enjoying it, doing the music and all kinds of stuff. And honestly, I credit that to helping me do this and get to where I'm doing this. And I have so much fun with it. And it's just, open up more avenues, and, kind of showed me a side of myself that I didn't know was there, that I could actually do this and, speak in front of people and, get in front of a camera and make a fool of myself sometime. But then it's like you talked about, I've tried doing some of the moto vlog stuff, and
Not for everybody.
no, I don't think, well, no, that wasn't my problem. I mean, I got the GoPro, I got the mic adapter, had the purple Panda, plugged everything in. I did this great video. I mean, I thought it was excellent. And then it didn't record any audio, nothing.
Yeah.
And I've tried plugging it into the GoPro and playing with things, made sure I had the right adapters, and the fucking microphone don't work. I'm like,
There's so many,
piss on you.
so many times I've took off, and I always joke around and I say that video would have got 10,000 views, but it didn't have any audio, and I lost my opportunity, because that was the video that I would have, solved world hunger in that video, because that's my early days. That's I started doing this during COVID out of boredom, and
that's when I started doing this during COVID. And the first year or so, it was just audio. I wasn't on YouTube, and like we said, hey, thanks to Brian and those guys, they were pushers and made me come to YouTube and really forced it and threatened me and everything else. No, I'm kidding, but
yeah, I mean, it's a good platform, and my story was, television was a dumpster fire. If you turned on the TV, it was just horrible. Not only just with COVID, but with the election and all the stuff that was going on in 1920, and nothing being produced for Netflix or Hulu because nobody could go to work. And I'm like, well, what do I do? And I used YouTube for, tutorial type stuff, how to work on my bike and stuff like that. And I started stumbling across these people riding around with cameras hanging off their helmets. And, I watched a lot of them and started following a lot of them. And I said to myself, I think I can do this. And motovlogging was the way I went at first. And it was just try to pick something that was motorcycle related. And that's one thing that I try to keep with my channel is I want to keep my channel motorcycle related. And that's kind of what's drove me away from motovlogging now, because it's very easy in the motovlog community to get wrapped up in, you know, current events or politics or something like that. And then in my opinion, you become something else. It's no longer a motorcycle channel. And yeah, you're on a motorcycle, but I don't think that's what it's about. So that kind of steered me away from it, because I caught myself falling into it, and it just wasn't the direction I wanted to go. And, you know, I started looking at installs. I've always worked on my bike, and I said, you know, maybe somebody will watch me do something to my bike. And those actually, I was looking at my analytics. My nephew, he's 14 or 15. No, he's like 13 yesterday. He's wanting to be a YouTuber, and he doesn't know what he wants to do. And I said, well, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time. And, you know, just telling him, you know, you got to pick something and go with it. And, you know, you just can't be random. And if you have a skill and people will watch you, that's kind of what it's about. So I look at my analytics, and those are the videos that do better for me. So over the last year and a half, my installs and my product videos have been doing very well for me as far as views. And, you know, that's what I'm trying to lean more toward now. But, you know, I still try to do some motovlog. I still try to do some location stuff, but those don't seem to do very well. And it's unfortunate, because those are the ones that I enjoy the most. I really enjoy getting out and riding somewhere and showing somebody something. But
and that's what I want to do. And I just got to push myself to actually do more of that. And I figured out some other ways. Like if I can't get the audio, then I'm just going to try to do some voiceovers things. But
yep.
I mean, that was the whole point of also doing this besides the podcast. Like I would love to do some other stuff and showcase, you know, where I live, the Northwest up here. All you sons of bitches that keep saying Seattle, not Seattle, but you know, that's this whole story that's a little soundbite, or I guess not soundbite. That's just something that's never going to die. And honestly, I can't remember how the hell it started, but man, that's taken a life of its own. I will say that.
Well, I noticed the sleepless in Seattle, and I didn't know it. I figured it's an inside joke. I don't know what y'all guys are talking about. So
it's the whole story. You know, if you ask the world anymore, it's I live in Seattle, so I just figured when StreamYard added that little piece, I'm like, not from Seattle. There we go.
I mean, you're not drinking coffee and you're not wearing flannel, so I mean, that's when right. I think of Seattle. You don't have a man bun, do you? You got a man bun?
No, usually there's not much there because it's fading, but I generally.
Oh, you're like me. You're like me, man.
Exactly.
We're follically challenged. Yeah. This is actually, I tell people all the time, you know, bald is the new mullet. If you haven't noticed that, you know, a lot of people do bald. It's basically, especially if you match it with, you know, some facial hair, that's the new mullet, and it's cool. So
100%.
There you go. So,
but I mean, and there's also, I want to do, you know, for me, it's like, I just try to think, it's like, I don't think, you know, I second guess myself where, you know, background wise doing some video. Cause there's, you know, like stuff that I purchased for my bike that's worked great, you know, for traveling or riding and stuff. I don't want to say so much as a product. I mean, I guess it is a product review, but it's things that, I mean, I personally have purchased that work great for me. You know, have worked good in, you know, my travels and, you know, the style of riding and stuff I've done. And I got a bunch of stuff I want to do. It's just, you know, being afraid to, you know, push that little record button and make that video. And
yeah,
I just gotta
everybody jokes
push
around.
myself to do it, because
everybody jokes around, says all you got to do is press record, but I get it. There's a lot that has to go into it. And, you know, and that's what I do, man. A lot of the stuff that I do, I bought a lot of the stuff. I mean, I just recently have had people interested in sending me stuff that they would like me to take a look at and install on my bike. But most of my stuff, you know, like custom dynamics, you're a big supporter of custom dynamics and as well as I am, but I'm a customer. I don't work with them at all. I've purchased all my lighting, but I love all that lighting, and I did a whole video series on it because I think
And
they make fabulous
yeah,
lighting.
they
And,
do too. And I want to go down that route and do something because, fortunate enough, when I had Dave Pabella on, we talked about lighting, and they've also became a big supporter of Mile Monsters. And
mhm,
after, we did the Milepost with Dave, and we were talking after, he says, "Hey, I'm going to send you something for your bike." So it's like, I was, I was floored. I'm like, cool. And I wake up the next morning and there's all these freaking links. And this is what we're thinking we're going to do. And I'm like, I called the lady at Custom Dam. It's like, whoa, what is this? I thought, like I said, a blinker. Oh no, no, we want to be part of, what you're doing with Mile Monsters, your
that's
fundraising,
awesome.
whatnot, because we want to, do something to also help you and whatnot. So, I mean, very fortunate. They did my entire bike from headlights to blinkers and all the rear tail lights, brake light, the fog lights. And no, it was absolutely freaking amazing. And, so many people think, especially, I can account for this. A good friend of mine bought a brand new Street Glide ST. We're on a ride, and I'm looking at my rearview mirror, and I couldn't even tell that his headlight was on. I'm like,
Yep.
we saw. I'm like, dude, is your light working? Oh yeah, they said this is their newest and greatest, LED, blah 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 blah, day marker shit. And I'm like, no
Well,
offense, but that thing sucks. And it was like 2 nights later, he sends me a text. He's like, dude, you weren't kidding. It's like I went on my first night ride. He's like, this is a joke. I'm like,
yep,
I'm not gonna downgrade and say what they make is garbage, but I look at two different factors. Upgrading your lights, yes, especially for nighttime, you can see better. That's 100% why, I feel people should. But on the other aspect is you get the lighting that's brighter. It's not only you're going to see better at night, people are going to see you during the day. I
yep,
look at the others. To me, that's a big safety factor. You look at, you know, we all see these posts, hey, seen a car wreck, motorcycle accident, such and such a highway, check on your people. Well, if you can be seen better, your light's going to be brighter, then it's just that safety aspect for you. And
absolutely.
that was a big push. And why I need to just, pull my head on my ass and actually do the video, not just for what I have, but for the product that they make, because I feel safety is a huge thing. If you can, have that chance to also be seen better because, you know, you have some obnoxiously bright lights, then
Yep.
you know what? People are going to see you and you can go home to your family at night. And, that's a big
My
important
headlight
aspect to me.
headlight is the last thing on my bike. I'm still running the stock. Now it's an LED because the bike's a 2016. But I just realized how desperately I need a bike or need a headlight. I typically try to, like, if I go on a trip from my house, I will wait till the sun comes up because I live in a part of Virginia. A lot of people don't realize, but we have a lot of swamp in Virginia. And so I am right next to Virginia Beach. I'm in the very southeastern corner of Virginia. North Carolina is only like 6 miles that way. And we have an area called the Great Dismal Swamp. So it's a lot of swamp. We have a lot of deer. We have a lot of black bear. And the one things that really get us are the nutria rats. I don't know if you know what a nutria is. A nutria,
Yes, I do.
yeah, they're huge. They're like a beaver, and they will run all over the road. And so I just don't leave at night. But last weekend I was out in the southwestern part of the state, riding the back of the Dragon, out there for VAM 25, which is a little meetup a group of people have been putting on for about 5 years. A great time. And I decided it's only about a 6-hour ride for me. And I decided I was going to get up Sunday and come home early so I can beat the heat because it was crazy hot. And the closer you close the coast, it just gets hotter. So I said, I'm going to get up super early and ride home. And when I was leaving the mountains, with the fog and the dark, I'm like, I need a headlight. It was because I've taken because I have an Ultra and it has what they call them, the passing lights, on the front.
Yeah.
I took those off. I don't like them. I think they look ugly. And I know more light, I get it. But those lights, when you go to high beam, they shut off. So they're only for low beam. So when you click the high beam, it shuts those highway lights off. And I said, well, I'm just going to take them off. But that's the last upgrade, is to get a new headlight. And a lot of people have been talking about the Shark Demon, and that's kind of the top of my list. I've seen that one puts out quite a bit of light. And I think that's what I want to go with because they're making it for the Street Glide now, a single Shark Demon.
I know Denali is also making a headlight. forum. A friend of mine just put that on his Ultra, but I know, like for me, I mean, I have the Pro Beam, the custom dynamic fog lights are my calipers, but being as I've got more into the the long distance endurance riding, the IBA stuff, running, doing a good amount of nighttime lighting, I went with co-light. I got 4.5-inch co-lights on my crash bars, and
Yep.
those add, I think the ones I got 18,000 lumens with just those also, plus my headlight.
Yep.
And co-light, I mean, mine were a gift from my son. There's no sponsorship, but their price is great. It's like $150 for the 4.5.
Yep.
I know a lot of guys run Denali's. I mean, Denali makes an amazing product. They're not cheap, but there's a reason why. I got some other friends that run Clearlight or Clearwater. I can't remember which one it is. And, they're bright, but for anybody riding at night, adding more light, go with more, because it makes such a huge difference. I mean, I've
Yep.
done trips, riding through Montana on these side highways in the middle of the night at midnight. And the more light you can have, the more you can light up the highway.
Yep.
The sides of the road, it's an
important.
difference.
A lot of people talking in the side chat, that there's a workaround, and I'm aware of the workaround where you can change it where your passing lamps will stay on when you go to high beam. And honestly, just for me, it's an aesthetic thing. I don't like the looks of the passing lamps. And when I started working on my bike and doing a lot of work from it, I'm basically trying to turn the Ultra back into a street glide. I know a lot of people try to go from street glide to Ultra. I want to go the other direction and then be able to put the stuff back when I want to. And I'm like you. I think I'd rather have something like some light cannons down on my crash bars. And then just a good, and Phil made a great point. Hogworks does have a really nice light. A friend of mine has the roadglide with their light in it. It's very similar to the Shark Demon, that Baja looking style light, that they make.
Yep. Yeah.
And I was riding with him, and it's super bright. So it's another contender, but there's a lot of, crap. Like I said, I think we were talking earlier, I went to Harbor Freight and bought LEDs for my garage. They have, and I was over there staring at them for a minute because I like to try to figure stuff out in my head. And they have these little, they're little lights, like they look just like the Shark Demon or something like that, but they're only about this square, and they're made for like, push bars on a truck or something like that. And I was thinking I could hang those from my crash bar because they're only about that big. And I'm like, that, I was really eyeballing them for about 10 minutes. I'm like, I think I could make these work, and I may do that. I don't know. But they were some pretty cool looking lights, especially if I go with like that type of light, whether it be the Shark Demon or the Hogworks or one of these other companies. But the rest of my bike, like I said, it's all custom dynamics. The rear end of my bike is so lit up. I have, when I have my tour pack on, I have the, their tour pack light, the Pro Beam tour pack light. And then I have, again, because it's an Ultra, I have a Cyclops light. So I bought the Pro Beam, for that. And then I have the fender tip light as well. And that's an upgrade to a Pro Beam. And all those illuminate when I brake. And then I got the fender extension that has the CVO lights, and I put those in there, and bag lights. So when I hit my brakes, it lights up. And but like you were saying, with some of the newer bikes and stuff, I can't remember. I want to say it was 2015 when Harley went to that mustache with the two for the tail lights. It was two lights. So you had your plate in the middle, and then it went out, and you had two lights, and they were red, and they would come on and hit the brake, or they would be the turn signals. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So a friend of mine had a red street glide, and right after he bought it, we were riding together, and I was behind him, and I don't know how many times I almost ran all over him because I couldn't tell when he hit his brakes. Those incandescent bulbs, from Harley, red against a red bike, and those two little lights, I couldn't tell when he was hitting his brake. And he immediately went out and bought some LEDs, and that made a huge difference. It's just, you can't have enough lighting. You got to upgrade that stuff and get those old light bulbs out of there and get some LEDs. I'm a huge fan of that. Huge fan.
Very
of that.
true.
But yeah, a lot of light talk here, man.
Oh, yeah, it's just a safety factor. Like you said with Harbor Freight, I have a few friends that, bought a set of those little, they're like little rectangular ones and mount on their crash
like
bar just for, just for nighttime, run. And, if you're doing stuff like, you're not going to be doing some long riding. What I mean, buddy of mine, he takes his off. So I'm not going to be doing any traveling right now. He's like, I'll just, take him off. He gets that cleaner look, but the little wires are all tied up, nice and down below. Then he throws them back on when he's going to go do some trips just because, he likes the aesthetic looks of his bike without them, but understands, hey, I'm going to be doing something nighttime. Cool. 10 minutes, throw them back on and plug them in.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it just really depends on your needs. Like I said, typically I'm not a nighttime. I'm not that I'm afraid to. It's just, well, I am here. I don't want to run over a Nutra. But like for example, if I know I'm going to run to Daytona, for me, because it's pretty much straight out to 95 and then it's 95 straight down. I'd rather do that at night. So, but I'll leave here in the late afternoon. And then it takes me about 3 hours to get out to 95. And then I can get there when the sun's going down and then run 95 at night, because to me, it's just me and the trucks. I don't have to worry about, the family in their minivan going to Disney. And it's a lot easier, for me to do that. But yeah, night around here, I don't do. Just too many critters that want to jump out in front of me. So
yeah, and you got this guy, you HD guys.
Oh, geez, here we go. I'm waiting on him. I know he's working it, and I think he's going to be getting a deal with New Balance, and that'll be his first sponsor now that he has his wing, for riding footwear. His white New Balance tennis shoes,
and his jorts, his jean shorts, his little polo shirt, and his New Balance. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he'll be there. You saw pictures of the bike, right?
Yeah,
it's actually it's a pretty badass looking bike.
It does have a good the redesign of Goldwing. When they did redesign it, they did make it look sleek. I'll give them that for sure. It is a sharp looking bike.
And he picked the best color. I mean, to me, black on a motorcycle, I ride a Vivid black motorcycle.
Oh, yeah, right there with you.
Yeah, so I always like it when I go to functions and people are like, oh, which bike is yours? I'm like, it's the Black Ultra out there.
I got that Me Too bike out there, that black one.
Yeah, it's that one right over there. But yeah, it's a good time. But what's John got going on? How original Black Harleys. Yeah.
That's right. It just makes it easier to get little parts. You getting a little fender bender or something, and there's a million of them made. So,
and it is a premium.
You can always find those parts off Marketplace.
Yeah, it's a premium color. Corey with big news coming. What's Corey's big news, Bri?
Come on, spill the beans, Bri. Let it out.
You can't just drop that. I look over and I see big news, and he's probably yeah. But
so you got any trips or anything you got coming up in your wheelhouse for getting the bike out and going for a little spin?
Like I said, I just got back from one, and it was a 4-day over to we rode the western part of Virginia and then the eastern part of West Virginia. I became a Dragon master. I've ridden all parts of the Dragon now, which was something I've been on my bucket list for a while. So I had the last piece I needed to get. So I did that. We rode about 1,300 miles in a weekend, which is not too shabby.
Good.
Not too shabby. But as far as the rest of the year, I don't have anything planned. There's a couple of people I know that are talking about doing some riding in the Smokies in September, but I think that work thing is going to get in the way. I keep trying to get back up. My plan this year was to ride the Northeast because I haven't done a lot of riding up there. I did Laconia a couple years ago, and it was, again, it's Rainconia, so it rained the whole time. We couldn't do a lot of riding. But I want to get back up there because that's a beautiful part of the country. I've worked up there a lot, and we were supposed to do the Hawk's Nest back in June and got rained out. So if anything, I might try to do that before winter sets in. But other than that, I don't have any big plans. It will all be last minute. We've got a little bike fest, the little weekend rallies. We got one coming up in October. That's a lot of fun when they do over here. It's about a 2-hour ride for me. It's in Colonial Beach, Virginia, which is right on
I think it probably rains more in Laconia than Seattle. I mean, that's what I've heard,
I don't know why that rally. I mean, I think now it's just too late for them to change the dates. The people just expect it. I mean, it's Laconia.
Because Laconia is it June or July?
It's June, and they pushed it this year a week. It was a week later, and it still rained, from what I understand. Some friends of mine went up, so it's still a good time. It's a really, if you want to switch gears, when it comes to rallies, I'm the kind of person. I'm not a big rally guy, but I like a riding rally. So, like I've done Sturgis, Laconia. I've been down to Daytona, and those. I'm not a big fan of those because they're not riding rallies, and
right.
They're more of a hangout rally, and I get it. I'm not knocking it. That's part of the culture. It's part of the community, and a lot of people like to do that, and I get it. But I just prefer to have some rides to do during the day, and Laconia is one of those. There's some beautiful riding up there. We got a chance to ride the White Mountains between the rainstorms, and it was nice, but we couldn't go up to Mount Washington because it was like snowing up there. So, but it's beautiful country up there. It's gorgeous.
I know Laconia is on my bucket list someday because, God, was it this year or last year was the 125th for Laconia?
Well, it was 100th. This year was the 102nd. So I went for the 100th.
I thought it was
the 100th year I went. That was, I think it's been 2 years now. Yeah, it's 2 years now. So, yeah, it was a good time. And then Doc's talking about mobbing in West Virginia, and I will agree with Doc Harley there. West Virginia, probably for the East Coast, east of the Mississippi, is probably some of the best riding you can do. West Virginia is phenomenal. I haven't done the mobbing that they put on out there. That's a pretty new event. I think they've only been doing it a couple of years, but it looks like a good time. And I've gone out there solo. I do a lot of solo riding. And year before last, I went out and spent about 4 days and just rode and just basically turned the GPS off and rode. And I don't think I found a bad road out there. They were just all fantastic roads to ride on. So, but yeah, for the rest of this year, I don't have much planned. I'll do our little bike week up in Colonial Beach, and then in the fall, the Outer Banks has another bike fest. I'll probably go down there because it's October and that's oyster season. So I'll go down and get some oysters.
Oh, you can keep those things. No,
I won't eat them raw. I'm not a raw guy. I
won't eat them. Period.
Yeah. I just had some last night. We went down to the beach and had oysters last night. So. But
that's probably one of the biggest places for oysters on with the West Coast is a little over an hour from me called Hamma Hamma. And that is a huge oyster place. They have, the oyster farms down here on Hood Canal are huge, but yep. No, you can keep that shellfish stuff. Not a fan.
You don't do shellfish.
No.
Nah. I grew up, in the South and Gulf Coast influence. And then coming up here with the blue crab and the oysters, which are pretty big here on the Chesapeake Bay. And just that and tuna. Oh man, we get some fantastic tuna here.
It's a fresh tuna. I'll do Dungeness crab like we have up here, but yeah, the whole clams, oysters, mussels, that stuff. Nope, pass. No, thank you.
And Corey, the Maine lobster. Absolutely. I used to work my job. I used to do some software install for the Navy. And I'd go up to the shipyard in Bath. And I always volunteered for that trip to go to Bath, Maine. So I could just eat lobster for a week. It was fantastic.
That's one thing I haven't had that I do want to try is some good fresh lobster.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It melts in your mouth. it is fantastic. Fantastic. The lobster rolls, oh yeah, just melt in your mouth. But
so you've been riding for a while with your bike. What do you run for tires? What's your choice of tires?
It's funny you mentioned I run Michelin.
Okay.
And actually I get a lot of grief. I've ran Commander 2s is probably my favorites. And I know a lot of people typically will run Commander 2s on a cruiser, not so much a bagger, a dresser. I've had zero problem. I get really good mileage out of them. But right now I'm running a mismatch. I'm running a Commander 2 on the front and a 3 on the back because I just did tires this past winter and then not even 1,000 miles on the tire and picked up a nail in the rear. So I had a trip coming up. I was riding up to Jersey to meet Bry and some of those guys up there, and I had to get a tire quick, and the only one I could find was a Commander 3. So I put it on the rear. But that's I mean, I've ran, the Harley, I don't know what the Dunlops that Harley puts on their bikes.
Yeah, the 204s.
The 204s. I think my last set of those, I think I got around maybe 8 or 10,000 miles out of them. And then my last set of Commander 2s, I got 12, almost 13,000 miles out of those tires. So that's pretty good, I think. So
I only asked when we'll sidetrack for ones. Yeah, my wife, I used to eat shellfish till I had one bad night in my 20s. Yeah, I remember those bad nights. We had some friends, few drinks, and don't eat clams, and that stuff raw was bad.
Well, yeah, clams, yeah, that are filters. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I asked because, I mean, I've been a Dunlop American Elite guy for many, many years, and now you can't get them anymore. So it's like, I got to, it's just a question I like to ask other guys. It's like, I got to go somewhere else for another brand. And the 204s from Harley weren't bad, but I love the handling of the American Elites. They were great.
Yep.
I mean, I had one 204. I got 21,000 miles out of it on the rear, and I got every mile of life out of that tire. We'll say that, but it's like now they got rid of the American Elites. Like, well, shit, that's been, my go-to for years. And so I gotta think of somewhere else because you can't get them anymore except what's left in, warehouses. So I just, one of those things I like to ask other guys now. It's like, hey,
I don't blame you.
What's your go-to?
That's the best way to do it. But, I'll be honest with you. I could not agree with Dr. Harley over there in the side chat anymore when he says he likes rubber tires. I really don't have any loyalty. When it comes to like tires and oil and maintenance stuff, I maintain my bike and I maintain it at a very good interval. I usually go for what's easiest on my wallet. So I know a lot of people will spend a lot of money on those type of things. And again, not knocking them. There's a lot of fantastic companies out there with great products, but I change my oil at such a frequent interval. I mean, I run Mobile One, and that's what I can get at the parts store up the street from my house. I can get, from an AutoZone, and they have the oil filter. So the same with tires. It's whichever one matches my wallet the most, because I'm not a hooligan. I'm not out, popping wheelies and doing burnouts and stuff. I just ride my motorcycle, and I want a good tire that'll hold the road, and that's kind of what I go with, So
yeah, no, I'm the same way. I mean, I do all my own maintenance, and like you, it's my motor. I generally run Castrol or I run Valvoline. I do in the tranny. I've got to point. I like the Amsoil, the 75 140. Yep. It quiets a tranny, but in my twin cam, I can't run synthetic in the primary because it'll weep out the drain plug. And I went through 5 drain plugs, fresh gaskets. No matter what I do, it will weep out my drain plug. So Bel-Ray still makes a conventional mineral oil, and I run Bel-Ray in the primary. I don't run synthetic in my engine just because of the mileage I got. Synthetic will love to come right out the exhaust, and so I run a conventional oil, synthetic in my transmission, and I do the mineral oil in my primary. It's like engine oils like every 5,000. I do my tranny and primary every 10. And that's how it's been since day one. Because I'm the second owner of my bike, and the first owner was my dad, so I have the little black book from day one of every maintenance, and I just I keep the maintenance how it's been ever since my dad had it, and that's just what I run.
That's a fantastic point. I mean, you're just doing regular maintenance on the bike. I'm not going to, sit here and say oil is oil. I know that'll start a whole, riot.
No, it's like I
But
said, everybody has what works for them. And hey, if
they
that's what
do.
you're doing, it works
And
for
I'm
you,
sitting here
awesome.
thinking, as you said, you didn't run synthetic in your primary. I mean, mine's a 103, and my last 3-hole, I actually tried something new. Lucas. So I was in my local parts store where I buy just Mobile One, V Twin Mobile One, and they had Lucas the same weight. Was it 20W? I can't remember what it is. But and it was the motorcycle, the Lucas V Twin oil. So I bought it, and then I went home and I saw on Amazon they had a primary and a transmission product as well, and I bought those. And I've been very pleased with those. And I'm due for a change, but it's quiet. My primary is not making a lot of racket. The engine doesn't make a lot of racket. So, and I got 60,000 miles on my bike. So it's still got a little bit of life. I'm thinking about, I have a leak in my rear rocker gasket. So the rocker gasket on the rear head has got a small leak. I noticed it. I replaced my head pipe a couple months ago, and I could see the oil at the top of the rocker box. So I know those are going to have to be replaced. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to pull the tops of the rocker boxes off and, redo all that, I might as well just open up that cam box and do the oil pump and do the cams. And then that way I don't have to do the adjustable, my brain's
Cam chain tensioner.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that and the rods. I don't have to do the adjustable rod. I can just put because I'll have the rocker boxes off. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I'm still on the fence if I'm going to try it myself. I've never done it, and I'm not afraid to try something, but I don't want to grenade my motorcycle either. So I'm still.
I know, like mine, just before I got it from my dad, he went the gear drive in the for the cams, and that was at 50,000. But I mean, last weekend I turned 127,000 on mine.
Yep.
And it's like you keep up on the maintenance. That.
Well, and
for me,
honestly,
I'm a twin cam fan. I love the twin cams. I'm not sold on Milwaukee. It's just I know far too many people have had issues with them, and I don't know. And it's just I think the other aspect for me is that I've been able to dive in. Do 99% of my maintenance. My bike's been in the Harley shop one time, and because it broke 1,300 miles from home, and I had to take it there. But no, it's like you treat it, you maintain them, and they do well. And can't complain.
A lot of people. I mean, I'll have people ask me, am I going to trade my bike in? And honestly, I mean, I like the twin cam, but again, the reason I like the twin cam is because the 103 is pretty much tried and true. It's a pretty solid motor, and they haven't changed anything until just recently. So I can take my 2019 Ultra and put it next to a 2020 Ultra, and it looks like the same bike. It's got an M8 in it. It's got a little more horsepower. It's got a little more torque. But again, I'm not racing nobody. I ride an Ultra. And it has zero problems with me, carrying me around. So I don't see the sense in getting rid of the bike. And honestly, if I didn't have this rocker box, gasket leak, I'd let it go. But if I'm in the motor, why not, look at doing some upgrades to the motor? We'll see. I don't know. A lot of us, again, my wallet has a lot to do with that too.
For sure.
Here we are, the old people in their Sawitsky, whatever that brand is, exhaust. I mean, 2-in-1 is cute. I mean, I get it. I know why people do 2-in-1. There, it's you get that back pressure, you get a little more performance out of it. Again, I ride a Ultra. When people say things, when people say
for me on that aspect, it's like running a bagger. I like the dual exhaust coming out the back. Me too. It just doesn't look right from the rear. I mean, no, I totally agree. You do get a little better performance at 2-in-1, and you do get the benefits from it. But for me, it's like on a bagger, it's like I just like the looks, and that's just my personal thing.
I went with I just did mine, and I did what I like to call, even though when we talk about stages, that's a Harley term. Harley made that up, stage 1, 2, and 3. And, I went with what I call a proper stage 1. I did the head pipe and, got rid of that catalytic converter. And I went with a fuel moto jackpot 2 in the 1 and the 2. And basically what it is you get kind of the best of both worlds. So it brings it into one. So almost probably over 90% of my exhaust goes out the right side. And then I get a trickle out of the left. So
basically the dummy pipe, so you still get the look.
It's not really a dummy because there is a little exhaust coming out of it.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not trying to race anybody. I'm not trying to have a performance bagger. That always makes me laugh. But that's just, if I wanted that type of bike, I'd go back to a Ducati. I rode a Ducati for a while. And if I wanted a performance bike, then I would be riding a Duke, not a Harley. So,
and just the sound note of a Ducati is just,
it's phenomenal.
It in its own. I mean, Aprilia is so close behind it. I mean, it's like when you see one come, it's like I'll roll down the window and just, look at that.
Yeah, I had that bike.
It's impressive.
That was actually the bike that got me back on motorcycles. I was talking about I got off motorcycles for several years while my boys were young. And I don't want to go too late because I'm gonna have to get off here. But
yeah, no problem.
I was up at my brother-in-law's house. He lives about 3 hours from me in Maryland. And he just moved back into the area, and he has a beautiful Fat Boy. And then over in the corner of his garage, he had this 2001 Monster just sitting over there, Ducati Monster. And I said, dude, what are you going to do with that Monster? And he says, I don't know. It's been sitting for 5 years. And he just looked at me and says, do you want it? And I said, well, yeah, what do you want for it? He said, give me $1,000. I couldn't get to the bank quick enough, man. So I went and got the money. I came back the following weekend in my truck because, again, it'd been sitting for 5 years, and brought it home and did all the rubber on it. I had to go into the tank and redo the fuel pump. And, of course, all the hoses inside the tank, because that's where all the fuel pump and the filter and everything's inside the tank. I had to replace all those hoses. They just disintegrated. And it was just,
maintenance
gummed up inside there, and clean that all out.
Yeah.
And I got that bike running, and I rode it for just about a year. And I told my wife, I have to get rid of this motorcycle because I'm going to kill myself on it. So that's when I decided to go to my dream. I went, I said, I've been wanting a Harley-Davidson my entire adult life. I'm going to go buy a Harley-Davidson. So I sold that bike and started down the Harley path. But yeah, if I wanted performance, that's exactly where I would go, because they're phenomenal motorcycles. Yeah.
The Monsters had such a distinct looking frame.
They do. It's that trellis frame. So the motor actually hangs from
stress member.
And it's an it's an L twin. And I took that bike, and it had the sport bike cans on it, right? So I took those off, and I just put a set of the GP Shorty exhaust. So basically we're right past the pegs. It cut out, and it was just straight pipes. And that thing sounded so ridiculous sitting at a traffic light. People would just look at me and be like, what in the hell are you riding, man?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And the front wheel just naturally wanted to come off the ground. I mean, that's just the way the bike rode. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I had no business on it, but yeah, the Monster arches there. It was actually only a 620, but for a 620, the torque was ridiculous. It was a 2001 620 Monster. It was not a 900. The 900 is the dry clutch. The 620 had a wet clutch. Yeah. No cup holders. Please don't talk about cup holders. Do you have a cup holder on your motorcycle, Lover?
I got a Kimimoto cup holder on mine.
Oh my God.
But I mean, you know what? I'm doing days, last weekend, one day, 1,058 miles in the 100-degree heat. Hydration is an important thing. I will say, though, another purchase with the Kimimoto lowers is my hydro flask will fit down in the pocket. Just, you're riding that heat. To me, staying hydrated, much as we hydrate our motorcycle every, 150, 200 miles, hydrating yourself is also important when you're riding in that heat.
I live in an area where I can stand in the parking lot of one 7-Eleven and look down the street and see the other one. So that's my argument to everybody. I'm like, it's 2025, dude. You only can go about 160 miles, and you're gonna need a gas anyway. You just get a drink.
Well, I mean, you got a point. But for me, it's like I love the back highways. If I could ride the back highways, not the interstate, that's the best way that I do to travel. So
I just like to bust people's chops about it.
I don't blame you. I would too. I used to do the same thing, and now I'm one of those guys. And
plus,
if I'm doing super long, I got my tank bag, little snacks I'll eat when I'm going down the road, and
I got to plug my folks at Dominator Industries that gave me my bars. There's no way I am sticking anything on my beautiful handlebars. Permanently anyway. I'll put my camera on it when I'm recording, but I don't even, my phone goes in the saddlebag. I don't even have my phone up there. I don't want it on I don't want to look at it when I'm riding. So yeah, I don't want to put nothing on those bars, but
no, I don't blame you. I mean, and everybody has what works for them, and that's the whole thing. None of us are different. We all set our bikes up what works for us, and
if we weren't making fun of each other, then that means we don't like each other.
Exactly.
So that's
what you always got to little dig somewhere. But I know, like you're saying, you got to get going. You got family and stuff. So
I got to work tomorrow, man. 5 o'clock.
Yeah, me too.
Comes quick, and we're you're over there. You still got your whole evening ahead of you, man. You get to go have.
Yeah, it's only 6:23 here. So, but no, man. Thank you for coming on and hanging out tonight. Everybody else
you having me
coming in here. Thanks a lot for coming in and. No, it's been a lot of fun. Hang around for a minute right after we close. I got 1 second for you, but
absolutely.
No, thanks everybody, man. This has been a lot of fun. Next Sunday, Milepost 153, we're going to do the Monsters Over Mountains recap. It's going to be kind of probably 5-6 of us on here and talk about the fun we had, the ride, and it was a great event. We, were able to raise some good funds for Gavin to help pay off the new wheelchair van we got him for us. So, like I said, man, thanks everybody for tuning in, your support, everybody hanging out, man. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy seeing the comments, and it's cool getting to interact with everybody. So, hey, everybody, ride safe, have fun. We'll catch you in the crossroads.
This just in, monster news. This summer, the mountains won't know what hit them. It's Monsters Over Mountains 2025, July 11th through the 13th. Over 1,600 miles, 7 mountain ranges, 1 insane 36-hour ride across the Pacific Northwest. Now in its 4th year, this epic endurance challenge supports the real heroes of Mile Monsters Inc., helping kids battling rare muscle-wasting disease DMD. Riders from across the country, brutal roads, breathtaking views, and a mission that matters.